The current climate policies will result in global warming of over 3 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, and this is according to a United Nations report. The annual emissions gap report has found that the world faces as much as 33.1 degrees Celsius of warming above the pre-industrial levels by 2100. If governments do not take greater action on slashing planet warming emissions, this mark is more than twice the cap of 1.5 degrees Celsius set by the 2015 Paris Agreement to prevent a cascade of dangerous impacts. And our next poll gets you more details.
A new UN report warns that the world faces catastrophic climate consequences under current policies. It says the world is on a path to warm more than 3 degrees Celsius, or 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit, by the end of the century. That's double the 1.5 degrees Celsius cap that countries agreed to in Paris nearly a decade ago. Here's UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
We are teetering on a planetary tightrope. The emissions gap is not an abstract notion. There is a direct link between increasing emissions and increasingly frequent and intense climate disasters.
The UN's annual emissions gap report takes stock of countries' promises to tackle climate change, compared with what's needed. It suggests nations must collectively cut emissions by about half in the coming decade, a target seen as likely out of reach. The world has currently warmed by about 1.3 degrees. At next month's annual UN Climate Summit in Azerbaijan, countries will work to build on an agreement made last year to transition away from fossil fuels. Summit negotiations will help inform individual countries' emissions-cutting strategies, which are due in February.
The report has also asserted that under the current pledges to take future action, temperatures would still rise between 2.6 to 2.8 degrees Celsius by the year 2100, and this is in line with the findings from the past 3 years. The report has further suggested that the nations must collectively commit to implement a cut of 42% on yearly greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2030 and should reach 57% by the year 2035. It is further said that this is the only way to prevent warming beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius, a target now seen as out of reach. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.